This is Miss Parent, and I'm going to be helping you with GarageBand today. So first of all, launch the program. Someone with the guitar. As soon as it opens, make sure you're in a new project and you're working on a voice project. Choose. Then save as the title of your book. What I'm going to be reading from today is called The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. I'm going to save that to my desktop. And this is not the final project that you're saving. It's just if ever you've exported everything and you decide that you still need to make changes, this is the file that you will need to do that. So create. The bottom part you don't need to worry about because we are not working on music. Once you've done that, this window will open. A few things you need to know. If you go to the center, at the bottom center, we're not working with measures. Here, it's for people that compose music, and so if you look at the top, it's all divided by measures, and it would be harder to find where you have made mistakes or where you want to go and edit something. So instead, we're going to scroll down, so go where the music note is and scroll down until you find the time. And now if you look here, it's been split into seconds, and it'll be easier for you to find your way around your project. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I'm a female. I'm going to record this for female voice. I don't know that it really matters, but anyways. When it's time to record, the record button is down here, and when it's time to stop, there'll be a square button somewhere over here, but you can also press the space bar to stop. So if I start recording, you could see the sound of my voice right now is being recorded over here. So I will start reading. The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. Once a little mouse who lived in the country invited a little mouse from the city to visit him. When the little city mouse sat down to dinner, he was surprised to find that the country mouse had nothing to eat except barley and grain. Really, he said, you do not live well at all. You should see how I live. I have all sorts of fine things to eat every day. You must come to visit me and see how nice it is to live in the city. Now I'm going to press the space bar, but remember you could also press this square to stop. And there you go, that's my first recording. If you take the cursor up here to go back to the beginning of the project, now I want you to listen. You will hear an echo in your voice. Recording, you can see the sound of my voice right now is being recorded over here. So I will start reading The City Mouse and the Country Mouse. Did you hear the echo? It sounds like I'm speaking in a church or something like that. So we're going to take that out. Go all the way to the upper right-hand side and press Master Track, and then click Edit. And right there you have echo and reverb. We're going to turn both of those off. And now it should sound like your voice. Once a little mouse who lived in the country invited a little mouse from the city to visit. So now we got rid of the echo. Now if you noticed, right here to the left-hand side of the red line is when I was talking to you about how to record, and then to the right-hand side is me reading the book. So I don't need all that time where I was talking to you, so I'm going to cut that out. First of all, I want to enlarge that section, so I'm going to double-click on there, and here you have everything enlarged. So if you look, these are all sound waves. So I'm going to cut everything to the left. So this is highlighted. I'm going to go to the Edit menu and I'm going to go Split. Now, when you split, you'll see one side is more dark purple and the other one is light purple. Whatever you want to do is always going to be applied to the darker purple. So if I just deleted now, what would leave would be the dark purple. If that's not what I wanted to get rid of, I could go to Edit again, undo delete region, and it'll come back. But that is in fact the part that I wanted to get rid of. Okay, Now the problem is I have all this silence before I start reading. So to get rid of that, I'm going to click here and drag the project back to the beginning. Now if I bring it all the way to the beginning of the project, I'm not going to have a silence at the start, so I'm going to leave just a little gap. Once a little mouse who lived in the country invited a little mouse from the city to visit him. When the little city mouse sat down to dinner, he was surprised to find that the country mouse had nothing to eat except barley and grain. Now I did on purpose to do a mistake here so that you could see that if ever you do make a mistake, you don't have to start recording all over again. So my sentence finished here. I'm going to select and split, and then I'm going to find the beginning of that sentence. From the city to visit him. When the little city mouse sat down to dinner, he would... Okay, so that was a sentence where I made a mistake. So I'm also going to split that, and that gives me the section that I want to cut out. So if I press delete right now, it's the beginning part that's okay that's going to be deleted. So I need to highlight this and delete. Now I'm going to record my sentence again. What would happen though, sometimes you'll take more time to read and it might fall onto this section. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on this part and I'm going to send it to that track that I'm not using. So I just dragged it to the top. Okay, it's still there. I could still hear it. Really? He said. Okay, but now I don't want to hear that. I just want to listen to the female one. Okay, so right now I muted the male basics and I put my file there. I'm going to click in the female basics again, find where I'm going to read from again, place your cursor, I'm going to grab my book, find the section that I want to read again, and I'm ready to read. When the little city mouse sat down to dinner, he was surprised to find that the country mouse had nothing to eat except barley and grain. And then I press stop. Now as I did that, I don't know if you see these little dots. That's me pressing stop, and you could actually hear it. So I'm going to get rid of that. Split. Get rid of it. I didn't need to analyze. No, thank you. Just delete. Why are you doing this to me? Okay. Now it's gone. And then I could find the other one and bring it back. Let's see what it sounds like. City to visit him. When the little city mouse sat down to dinner, he was surprised to find that the country mouse had nothing to eat except barley and grain. Really, he said, you do not live well at all. You should see how I live. I have all sorts of fine things to eat every day. You must come to visit me and see how nice it is to live in the city. Now I'm going to press the space. Oh, that's when I was teaching you how to stop. So I'm going to go back, split again, highlight it again, delete. Now I don't know what you thought. Do you think that I waited too long here to speak again? To visit him. When the little city mouse... I feel like we're making people wait a long time. So I'm going to shave a few seconds off of that, maybe a little more. And this is kind of trial and error. Oh, I didn't highlight it, so it wouldn't let me select split, highlight, delete, drag it back there. Now if you drag it back there, remember this part, you need to drag this part back also. Okay. To visit him. When the little city mouse sat down to dinner, he was... I think that sounds better. How about the gap over here? And grain. Really, he said, you do not live well at all. You should... Yeah, I feel that one is okay just because we changed from from the narrator to the mouse speaking. I feel like there could be a bit more of a gap, but if you don't like it, you could also delete a little section. So if that's the end of my project, then I go to the top, Share, Send Song to iTunes. Now you can title the playlist whatever you want. I'm going to call it KIS Reads. The artist name, it is me. And then the composer name might be the author of your book. I'm bad, I don't know who the author is. I took this story off the internet. And then I would save it in high quality. Okay? And then when you press share, it will automatically open in your iTunes library once it's done processing. So you could work on another project, go on the internet, or start reading another project, and then all of a sudden you're going to hear the story you were just recording in your iTunes, and then you know that it's done. So I'm not going to press share because I don't need to save this project. And that's how you do it. Okay, so I just taught you some basics. Now I thought it could be fun if ever you wanted to put sound effects. Give a new spin on one of your characters that's speaking. So just so you know, whatever sound effects, like if I go in this female basic and I put a sound effect there, it will affect this whole track. So to me, this is going to be my narrator line, and only when I want my normal voice, it will be recorded or kept here. So now I want to create, oops, I'm in the wrong thing, GarageBand. I want to create a new track, and I'm going to go new blank track. Should appear down here. Okay, and this is going to be, I'm going to make my snobby city voice, city mouse.
Nothing to eat except barley and grain. Really, he said, you do not live well at all.
Okay, so really is the mouse speaking.
Really, he said.
So not the he said. So.
He said.
So I don't want the he said. Go here. Split. Why is it not splitting? Split. Okay.
He said, you do not live well.
So I just want the he said out. Split also. Oh, it's not highlighted. Split.
You do not live well at all. You should see how I live. I have all sorts of fine things to eat every day. You must come to visit me and see how nice it is to live in the city.
Okay, now remember that this is a kind of a snobby mouse that's talking. Okay, so I'm going to bring this down here. And then I'm going, this is the narrator, and then this one right here. Now I might have to check the timing at some point. I split my track. This is when the mouse will be speaking. So right now I'm in no effects. I could go into vocals, okay? And if I click any of these, like deeper, let's go deeper vocal and listen to what our voice, our mouse would
barley
sound like.
And grain.
Really?
He said.
You do not live well at all. You should see how I live.
Okay, so that's pretty funny, but there's no way our little city mouse sounds like that. So you could just click on different ones, but here I see mouse voice. Okay, and as I click on that, look over here on the far left, it says mouse voice, so that you'll know what effect you have.
Grain.
Really?
He said.
You do not live well at all. You should see how I live. I have all sorts of fine things to eat every day. You must come to visit me and see how nice it is to live in the city.
If you like that one, you keep that one. What else could we try? Helium. Ooh, helium could be funny. We just have to make sure that the people reading along would still understand the voice.
Surprised to find that the country mouse had nothing to eat except barley and grain.
Really?
He said,
You do not live well at all. You should see how I live. I have all sorts of fine things to eat every day. You must come to visit me and see how nice it is to live in the city.
I kind of like that one better. What do you guys think? So I'm going to go with the helium breath for the voice of the mouse. Your country mouse, if ever later on it would speak, then you could create another track, another basic track, and then add another effect. So go in your vocals and find another effect to represent that other mouse. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. You could also add sound effects if ever there are steps somewhere in your story. I could also, with my hands, make the sound of, so you could record that. Or you can import loops from the internet. So if you go on Google and you search for sound effects like a creaking door opening, then you can download that file and put it into your story when they say something like, and the door slowly opened. You could have that sound effect that's also in the background. If you want to layer the sounds, so here,
You do not live well at all. You should see how I live.
So let's pretend, I know it's not in my story, but let's pretend for a second that while the mouse was talking, somebody was walking in the background, okay? So I could record the sound of steps. Is it a giant that's walking? I don't know. Let's do that. And then I stop it. Now you could easily take this and layer it on. So I'm going to bring it here. Wow. Remember, that's been muted. So if in my story it said the little mouse is talking and somebody's walking in the background, then you would have this.
said,
You do not live well at all. You should see how I live. I have all sorts of fine things to eat every day. You must come to visit me and see how nice it is to live in the city.
Okay, does that make sense? So if you wanted a little music in the background or something like that, you could add as many layers as you want to your project and edit each layer. If I wanted to listen just to that, because right now, if I want to listen to my steps, I also have to listen to the voice.
You must come.
If I only want to listen to the steps, I turn off the voice. Oh, see, now I hear that I stopped it. So I want to edit that out. Okay. And if ever I want to make it longer, I could repeat it as well. So that's kind of a loop now. And then you would edit it as you wish. And if you're already done with the project, you know, just have fun with it and try new things until you're done, basically. So those are just a few ideas. If ever I'm around, I'll be happy to help you, but I'm sure if you just try things, you will maybe be able to teach me a little trick or two. Thank you.